All right, here we go. So you can see the arm over here of my tripod for my camera. I've been filming an episode, and well, heck, let me just show you guys what I've got here. So we have an owl, a wolf, and a crescent moon, and a little dragon, Puff, the magic dragon. So we've got those three. And what we're going to do is we're going to cast these. Now, this is MDF, but you can see some shine to it. That's because I clear coated it, and let me see if you can see some shine to it. Clear coated it, and I also hit it with Yorkshire grit that Jamie Page, JP Woodwork sent, and then covered it with more wax. Because what we want to do is get the mold that we get from it as good as we can. Well, that's not an accurate thing. Not as good as we can. We want it as good as we can, but we want it as the sheen a little bit higher than just a matte sheen. Whatever you pour is on whatever your mold is, the sheen of it is what will come back on the mold. And so everything you cast after that will become that sheen of that mold. Now, I've only done 2 molds prior to this. I'll show you that real quick here. I did this mold that produced this guy. Okay? And then I did this mold that produced this guy. He came out of there. I turned it down a little bit so it's a little bit smaller, just to clean it up and give it that look. So we've done these 2 molds. And this is the stuff. And I'll show you all the steps. It's just going to be a laid back hangout on a Friday night. And I'm also, as you can see, the arm here, armature of the tripod, because I've got my camera here. I've been filming this little thing as a series. I figured do the live. So we're going to go ahead and do these, and they'll be dropped in these trays, and hopefully they don't move around, dance around too much in there. See how they go in the trays? And we'll fill these up with the silicone and let it cure. And then we pull them, remove the positive, and we'll have ourselves these little molds, which will turn into resin pendants, which is the idea. But for now, we'll put these to the side. I've got a little bit of a conundrum, a little bit of an issue in that I've got my camera set up. I need to mix this stuff here. I'll show you what I've got. So let's do it this way. I'm not filming right now. I did a pre-filming because I'm going to use the footage to edit it and whatnot. I'm using this stuff, which produces this. And what it has is it's got this base, which is the silicone, and it's got this catalyst activator stuff. It comes with a little scoop. Now, the way the instructions read is that for every 2 ounces of this stuff, it takes 1 scoop of the catalyst, this stuff. Okay, so we've got these 2 little cups, which are an ounce. So I'm going to fill whatever the ratio, we'll see, because we need to make enough to make those 3 molds. This will be an ounce, and this is an ounce. So 2 of these require 1 scoop of this catalyst. 2 ounces of what's in here requires 1 scoop of this catalyst. We may need to do multiple scoops because, well, we've got plenty of oh great, my finger just got a little bit of silicone on it. All right, off to the side in that direction I have 2 bags. I've got some gloves because this stuff is super sticky. But these, I bought these at the Harbor Freight gloves, and I bought these like the medium size, and they barely, my hands, it's just like completely, but what are you going to do? This is all, the only 2 pair that I have left. And then I've got this cup here, which will scoop the 2 ounces or more into here, the catalyst into here, and will pour from here. I wish I had something a little bit further this way. I could cut this, but the rim that these have keep it, you know, nice and steady, as opposed to, you know, you get the point. But this is what we got. So now, and we've got this spoon to dig from here so we don't create a mess. So that's the whole shebang right there. Hey Steve, what's going on? Hey Dirty, the red solo cup technique. If you guys want to, if any of you guys want to hang out on this hangout, I could use some company. I'll drop a link to you if you're interested in doing that. Don't share the link with anybody unless it's our close-knit group. Let me do that right now. And if any of our other buddies come along, they can join in as well. Dinner is getting ready. Okay, cool. That's fine. When you see any of our buddies that are buddies that want to join in, that'd be cool as well. So anyways, the conundrum that I have is that I have to take for the filming, because I'm going to be doing, and press the button to turn this on. I don't want to get all that silicone on my camera and this and that. But once I start mixing, all bets are off. So these are an ounce each. Oh, I can start filming now. All right, so we have our ounce cups. We've got our silicone, our spoon for digging in. We're going to make the least mess possible. We've got our activator. We'll put it to the side. And our scoop. So for every 2 ounces, 1 scoop of activator. That's the key. And I've got some plastic bags off to the side so that we can chuck everything that gets dirty off to the side. Oh, great. Guess what? You're not going to believe this. My camera ran out of footage. It's full. So I'm going to have to use the, see it says full? I'm going to have to use the Hangout footage, unfortunately, for this part of it, which is fine. I could do that. Let me turn this off. It'll save me the extra effort. There, we shut off the camera and the viewfinder. So that's shut off. And we'll put this on and work on this. Luckily, we've got YouTube recording this part of the footage, and I can use it as part of the footage. That's the cool thing. So these gloves wear super tight, unreasonably so, unfortunately. And get all these napkins to the side here. So I guess we can start working here. Okay. Ooh. Two ounces, 1 part activator. This stuff is super sticky. Look at that. Really sticky. That's why I decided to use the spoon. I learned from last time and I said, oh, well, we'll use a spoon. Because this stuff is very sticky. Oh, well, goodness. Here's 1 ounce of sticky goodness. And when I say sticky, impossibly so. Impossibly so. Okay. Boy, I wish I had some other thing to dump this in, like a stick or something. I should have pre-planned an extra stick. But this seems to be working out. It is gooey. And this is the Alumilite stuff. I left links and all that in the, that was 1 ounce. Now, I have noticed with the 1 mold that I made, that's 1 ounce. We're going to make 4 ounces. I noticed with the one that the previous molds that I made, that the ratio, I just got some on my glove, so the mess begins. I noticed with the ones that I made that the distribution of catalyst can fluctuate slightly. You don't have to be mondo precise. Here's number 2. So that's going to require already 2 scoops of the activator, like previously mentioned. This is actually fairly contained compared to the last time I did this. Just the same, it is super sticky. As long as I keep one hand not sticky, it'll be all right. All right, so we've got 2 of this stuff. We're going for 4. I wonder if 3 would be, that would be 1.5. If we could do it with 3, fill up each mold with 3, so that way we keep some more of this mold, because it can get expensive. We'll see what that looks like inside the Dixie cup. Very, very sticky. Look at that. It just, whatever it touches, this is like, try caulking your baseboards with this. Oh shoot. Came up over the other edge. So now the mess, it came up on my glove. And it's slippery now. Yeah, we're gonna go with 4. So we're gonna do 1 more scoop of this stuff. So 4 ounces. See, this is now extremely sticky. I have created, the mess has now officially begun. I tilted it the other way when I was dropping it into the Dixie cup, and that's all it took. Because now it's all over the place. Okay. What we'll do is we'll cover this because now we have 4. Oh, great. And we got napkins, so we've got alternatives. Now we've got 4 ounces. Which might be overkill. Okay, I just chucked that into the bag, that little cup, the 1 ounce cup. I've got this stuff. I've got all this. There seems to be a lot in there. I've got all this caked on my hand. I'm going to try and clean it with one hand to make it a little bit less sticky so I don't get this glove. This is my only pair of gloves. I have to go get some more gloves. But you're seeing it here how sticky it is. But we're going to be able to produce those items that I showed you earlier. And of course, I took some time, um, valuable time, to shape those little animal pendants. I took my sweet time getting them prepped. Now, we'll see how they come out. All right. That's not bad. Tighten that up. Put it back in the box that it comes in. Move it to this little cup. We won't need no more. So we'll just put it in there for further use later. Removed quite a significant amount of the stickiness. David Birch in the house. Wizard Woodworks. So we've filled this up. See if I can move this over a little bit. You don't need that much light. I filled this up with a significant amount of silicone, and it's very sticky. This is the Alumilite stuff. I have all the links and stuff in the description. They are affiliate links, incidentally. So this stuff, I'm gonna mix the catalyst into it. It's 4 ounces that I have in here. So I'm gonna have to do some good mixing and then pour the items that I showed you guys, which is this owl is one of them. This dragon is another one. And this wolf and crescent moon is another one. So we got 4 ounces of the silicone rubber. And then we're going to have, it's 1 scoop per 2 ounces. So we're going to go ahead and pour the 2 scoops, and then we're going to just stir like mad, mix it all together. That's what we'll do. Put this forward here a little bit. Actually, you know what? Bad mistake on my side. I do recall that one must mix this stuff before pouring, and I didn't do that just now. So I poured it back in. I'm going to seal it, and I'm going to agitate it. We're going to agitate it nice, and then we'll measure and pour it back in. That's fine. I think it would work either way, but it does say agitate, So we got 4 ounces. We're doing 2 scoops. 1, 2, and I'm going to hit it with 1 more. Not the full one, just a little extra. If you go to their site, the Illumilite, one of their videos, they explain that if you overdo or underdo slightly, it's no big deal. You saw me hit it with like a tad more, like a ridiculous amount, little bit more. I'll show you. Let me wipe my hands a little bit better just to keep things relatively clean. And we've done a good job of more or less keeping things clean here. Here's the pink activator catalyst stuff with the silicone. See that? Sitting on top. We're going to start mixing. Let me look at your commentary. All right. What's it taste like? I'll never know. So we're mixing. And we're going to take our time mixing. It's so viscous, thick, that it's a pain in the butt to mix. It says on the instructions that it's like 30 minutes to 45 minutes of work time before it starts setting. And I think it says like 2 hours or something. It took overnight for me. I went to sleep the first time and didn't see how long it really took. But by the next day, it was ready to demold. This is a pain in the butt. Well, here's how it's looking. It's got here in person, it's got a little pink look to it, but not pink like that. The other, same company, other brand, I think. No, same company, other brand. Yeah, same company, other product that's similar. This stuff is less expensive. You don't get as much, but well, heck, it's worked out pretty good with the first 2 molds that I made. And we're molding MDF that I clear coated. Well, here's a good example. I'll put them right over here. The wolf, I started with the wolf, the dragon, Puff the Magic Dragon, and this little owl. The intention is, of course, to mold those. And then once we have the mold, cast them. Although I do have a few thoughts on how the heck I'm going to get the hardware on this guy, the wolf. How I'm going to get, because it would hang from up here. This guy needs to go like that, like you're seeing it there, on somebody's necklace. So I only have that little thin peak to work with. Same with the dragon. I don't want him to be pointing up or down. So where do I hook the hardware? This guy's easy. But those aren't problems without solutions. I'm sure we could do a double hardware to balance it. We're mixing, mixing, mixing. So we have 4 ounces of this stuff in here. I try to be as conservative with the pouring as, with the use of this material as possible, but we want enough to cover each of these. And we might end up needing to get another little tray. Who knows if we'll go overboard or have just enough or not enough. I'm tending to believe that we'll have enough to create an extra mold or two, in which case we'll just figure that out because we have plenty of working time. And we have like a good half an hour to 30 minutes to work with this stuff, I do believe. It's looking pink. Well, it's like a white with a subtle pink. Maybe it's the red from the, but the activator is pink in this one. It's just not the same one as the ones that you've seen with the 2 different colors. Um, let's see. TLF works. Hello, Eloy. What's going on? Hi, Steve. Thank you. I received shipping notice this morning. Your shirt shipped out. Okay. So, um, yeah, I'm just mixing a little bit more because this stuff is incredibly viscous, and I just want that activator to really sort of blend in with the silicone, and I would assume it would do its job faster in that manner. But you already saw what I did, which was I used gloves, although these are the only pair I have left. You can see there's stain on them and all that, so that the silicone doesn't get on my fingers because the stuff is sticky like you would not believe. Look at this stuff. Look at that. Um, and I have 2 shopping supermarket bags, plastic bags, off to the side so I could chuck all these napkins and things that I use to wipe my fingers. And I used a spoon to scoop up the silicone to keep it contained. And even so, it sticks to everything. I think we've mixed well enough. We're going to start with the feature that I started this whole thing with, which was the wolf. I am going to have to do a little bit of extreme lighting here. I know it's going to get dirty, so let me bring over a couple of more napkins over here. I want him to stay kind of sort of in the middle. I hope you can see this well from over there, but I have to prop this so that this is very important. Oh, shoot. I have to pull this. I have to clean the okay, that's about right. All right. So I'm going to go up high. And we're going to go with a thin little bead as much as we can. hope you're watching this. Luckily, with gravity, it'll suck into all those little corners, I hope. You're seeing this, yeah? We might not have enough for all three. I don't know. Let's real quick here. Oh, great. We've got drippage off to the side. I'm gonna put this to the side real quick here. I might have to fill that up with more. We had drippage. Let's go with the dragon. Let me see if I can turn this so you can see a little bit better and increase the size. I think that'll do. So we're gonna go with the dragon. And this one's a little bit more difficult. Because of all those little pockets. Boy, I hope this one works. Let's go for it. This stuff is sticky. Okay, we can put this to the side. Actually, I should just churn it a little bit, shake it. I don't think it needs much. I think the bubbles and all that will pop. We'll put this to the side. I could use a little bit more on here, on this one. Oh, shoot. Look, the problem with that is that it goes everywhere. So you got to be careful. We're going to go a little bit more with this. This is the wolf and moon. And I just want to make sure that the bottom has enough thickness when I cast, if you know what I mean. Okay. Here comes the owl. This one's probably the easiest because there's not a lot going on there as far as shapes that cut into the item that we're molding. Boy, I hope these work out. I don't see why not. I went overboard on this one. Still got a little bit left on that one. We've got this here. We'll put it to the side. We've got this one. Oh man. I don't want to shake it too much because I don't want that item sliding on the bottom and then having a crappy mold. But we still have a little bit in there. We could probably take care of business by doing one more mold. Let me see if I've got another one of those cups. Give me 1 second. All right. Lucky us, we have one more of these trays that we can use. This one I've been using for when I am, what's the word, doing pendants and I'm microfibering. I've been using that for the microfiber. Now I'm looking for a pendant that is not set up yet. I guess we could do this size pendant. Let me see. Let me see. Because I've got hardware on the pendants, a lot of the pendants here. I actually, because I'm selling them, so I went and put the hardware on it. And it appears that this guy's the only one I can use right now. It's got a nice little gloss to it, so we'll go ahead and use it. At least that way, we'll use up. Hopefully, this is enough to make the third mold, or a fourth mold, actually. It was plenty. Could argue that you could make another one, or I could have done 2 more. Might as well make it thick. Get rid of all that good stuff. We did pay for it after all. Hopefully it pays us. Okay, so that I could scrape, but we're done. Right? We're gonna put this in our paper bag, plastic shopping bag. It's got little bubbles and whatnot. That's fine. Good. These gloves. A little activator cup. That's done. Okay. These gloves. I have squeezed the life out of these gloves. My only pair. Left. The struggle. I bought them 2 sizes too small. Give me 1 second. All right. So there's a bit of bubble action going on here. I think that they'll pop or rise or whatever. We'll see. I agitated it. So let's turn this up. This way. And decrease the size of the all right. Let me go over and see what you guys are saying. I did a pretty good job of keeping this from being a big mess. All right. So let's see who's in the house. You know, I just realized it's Todd. Oh, it's TLF. TLF. I missed the beginning. Are those cutouts attached to the bottom of those bowls? Those cutouts attached? No, they're not. They're not. I don't think they're gonna. I don't see it floating because this stuff is so sticky and viscous and heavy that I just see it sort of like suctioning all around it. It could happen. I mean, that's if that's the question that you're asking, but I don't see it happening that way in this case. It could. Last time, the ones that I did last time, this one slid to the side a little bit, but that's because I shook it, which I did with these a little bit. So it's not. And as far as the bubbles and whatnot, they all went away. So maybe I shouldn't have shook these, but well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It is a little bit of a process, right? So we are dealing with a bunch of little things and then clean up and whatnot. So when you get ready to do this, you do have to sort of focus on it. So it's not like it's a unless you're doing that every day. It's not an everyday thing because you have to sort of keep things prepped for what you're doing. So I'd like it to come out good. We'll see what happens with that. Um, let me see. Thank you. I received shipping notice. Oh, okay, we had read that. What's going on, Anna? Um, we just did some molds. These here, let me show you. I don't know if you'd seen prior, but we did these molds here, and they're like little animal shape. Well, three of these are animal shapes, and the other one is a what do you call a pendant. So we have like a I don't know which is which now, but we have like a wolf with a crescent moon. We have an owl, or this might be the owl. Let's say this is we have the wolf, the owl, and then a dragon. I think this is the dragon. I think this one's got no. You know what? Let's. I think this one that has the most bubbles could be the dragon. That's more than likely the dragon. Um, boy, I could totally be wrong. See, I don't want to shake it too much because I don't want it to slide. On there. I'm looking, I raised it up so I can see where it's sitting. I'm really worried about these things not moving around much, which is what Todd was mentioning. This one is floating, whatever the heck this thing is. Or maybe I didn't have enough. Oh, shoot. Is this the pendant? I don't know what this is. We have work time with these things. So this seems to be this one will end up having a very thin layer. It still has work time. I pressed it down. We'll see what happens with that. I got a feeling that it'll be all right. The other ones are quite down, but yeah, what you were mentioning, Todd, this one did come up some. Don't know what this one might be. Let me see. But he's sunk in there now. I might have, what might end up happening is that it'll have a skin on the top that I'm going to have to cut around and out. But I don't have a problem with that. So he's sunk in there now. I don't see him floating after this. And there's still work time for these things. This one's in at the bottom, like this one, and this one. So, yep. So, let's see what you guys are saying. You will get a little flashing under them that he can just rip off. Yeah, they're just sitting in the bowl. Okay, we've got that. Um, yep, I did. I don't know. Did you see that before? Because now they're sitting, hiding underneath the um, the rubber. What should be attached to the bottom? No. So what I did was I took a little container, these containers, and I put the piece in there. And I'm sure that people usually put something to either, I wouldn't say weigh it down, but or even suspend it. Um, just glue it to the bottom, at which point you'll have a little bit of skin going over the top, like Steve said. Um, I didn't use anything. I just poured into them. Most of them came out okay. Like they didn't float to the top. One of them did when Todd mentioned that, and we went through looking. I realized that one was floating. At which point that it wouldn't have a comfortable amount of depth for when I pour. So we fixed that by using that skewer and poking it down the item, and it just went. So it'll probably end up with a skin, but that's fine. I can cut around that and stuff. But nothing is holding them down. I hope that they come out okay. So much because, well, it's a pain in the butt, right? I mean, it's fun, but you want your hour, you know, mold making to be successful. Plus, your the stuff, is expensive, but reusable. This is how they come out eventually. This is how they look. Which I know you've made a bunch of that stuff. Um, the skull with a little skull mold. There's too much glare. Those are the first two that I had made, and of course the idea is to replicate. But this is what I'm using here. I've got all the links in the description for all the stuff. They're affiliate links. End of the day. Um, but I like the stuff. I like it. Let me see. What should be attached? Okay, we read that. What did you use for cutouts? So for the cutouts, what I did was I cut out a well, I'll show you guys because we could do that. It's cool that we could do that because we have. screen share. I'll show you what I used. Let me go. I'll screen share real quick and then we'll come back. I got to be careful not to. All right, so here's the Instagram. And so I did this dragon. I'm worried about the dragon because it has a lot of these little cutouts. I'm sure that the silicone will fill. It did fill in, and I'm sure that it'll fill. I'm worried about release of it, but it's MDF. I did MDF, and this is not showing how glossy. That's at the beginning of the this live episode, but I ended up clear coating it, sides and everything, and then I ended up buffing it up with that Yorkshire grit that JP had sent me, and so it's nice and shiny, and hopefully it will end up that way. We'll find out soon enough within the next day or so. And here's the wolf, and this will be a pendant, and I can either put this inside. Once the mold is done, I can either add resin to the mold and make it the pendant as is like this, or I can put this in the mold and or in a tray, fill it with a resin, fill in all these little gaps, and then turn ever so slightly to create a pendant with two variations of colors as well. So I would, you get what I'm saying. So those are the two things. Um, and yeah, it's something like this, except this was wood with the epoxy. But yeah, the idea is is that. So I cut it out of MDF. See what you guys are saying. I gotta sneeze. Oh man, woo! That was coming. All right, so let's see. Um, if I can give you advice, you can use sealer to stick your cutouts to the bottom. Sealer. So like, can you tell us more specifically the sealer? Thank you, Steve. Can you tell us, Anna, the sealer, what we're talking about as far as the sealer, so that we know, so we can solve the mysteries of the unknown, and that way we improve our workflow, frankly. Gesundheit. Um, bitte. So maybe you can hit us with that. Tell us about that, Anna, the sealer that you're talking about. We're waiting. If you can. I don't mean to be pushy here. Use a dab of silicone to stick the pattern to the mold. Yeah, I could do. Because it's gonna stick. There's gonna be a little bit of a skin. Anyhow, it doesn't matter if it's a thin one. I guess you're right. But she said, I can't write that fast. She says, but she said, um, a sealer. So I'm sure she has a sealer in mind. I don't know if it's actually the resin that she's talking about. I'm not too sure. Let me show you guys this in the meantime. So these are the pendants and some blanks that I've made. I really like this one a lot. It's really cool. This one's really super. So all this has been made with the resin from the Alumilite, and I just love it's just so super cool. And of course the lathe. This one's got like a flat to the top and then comes down. I really like this one a lot. We just got a bunch of them here. Look how cool that is. So as I was making, I started with the wood ones. Here's another wood one. Look how nice that is. I started with the wood ones and I said, you know what? Let's go and do some resin pendants as well. Look at that, how cool that is. I really like this one. That's a awesome pendant. And then I said, well, wait a second, let's try and do the wood and the thing. But what I did was I did that one with the Phoenix. And then I said, well, wait a second, how about doing some molds to do stuff? And that's why we ended up doing the skull guy. And I like this one as well. But now I'm thinking, well, the wolf and this and that. So that's basically where we're at. And that's why we're doing what we're doing now. And incidentally, I'm actually filming, or was filming. I'm going to use some of this footage that you guys are here hanging out with me on. And I'm going to use some of it for the video because my memory pretty much conked out on me. Memory full. Let's see what you guys are saying. Use a dab of silicone, says Steve. Anna says, don't you use nothing to release your silicone afterwards? Nothing. I can't write that fast. Anna B, no. Harneal, he doesn't use any release agent. Thank you, Steve. David says, I like it, pretty cool. Have to try it sometime. Yeah, it's quite fun. The resin itself really cool. Obviously, it's really cool. But the fact that you can make something like carved out, pour this silicone stuff on it, and then have that image that you can reuse by pouring more resin into it is really cool. And imagine the complexity that one could. So you know how people use the what do you call that stuff? I can't. That clay, you know, that polymer clay stuff. Imagine there's a lot of videos where they show how they do intricate sort of designs, say for pendants or whatever, and then they mold cast that, and they have that pattern forever until the mold lasts, and it's freaking awesome, you know. I like the idea of that. I'm at the stage of trying to get these pieces out, experimenting to see what we have. You know, I know it's quite uh, a feasible and doable, and it's, you know, people do it, but I'm doing it the process myself now so that I can reproduce the thing once. I can make it once and then reproduce a set of like items, and then just being creative with it and stuff. And I like it. We'll see what happens with these. Boy, I hope that these come out good. We still have some silicone in there to create more. And we've got resin. You saw those um, pendants and stuff. I gotta sell those in order to be able to purchase more, um, you know, material for this particular thing. Uh, he should. I should use release. And I know it sounds funny to use release agent to stick something, but it works very well. I keep telling him to use a release agent. He will learn. I will stick with turning pens. Anna B. Eloy, if you have any questions or I can show you something, just call me. I wait I wasted already so much silicone in my life. So far so good. I know it's not like I'm unaware, and Steve is just being, a bit sort of like aggressive here, but I know the pitfalls. It's not like I'm flying blind. Like I know. And by the way, I appreciate that, and yes, I will. But just to say, I know that the dragon that has all those little bits could possibly be an issue when releasing, right? Um, the wolf could be an issue. The owl, I don't see any issue, but they're clear coat. Like what you saw, the Instagram stuff is not the finish on it. It's very, very shiny stuff. I don't foresee it, and it's wax. So what's covering those pieces right now in there is wax, is actual wax. Those pieces are covered in wax, a thin layer, buffed out wax. But you know what I mean? Wax and rubber, I don't know. So could be a problem, but we'll find out. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with them coming out. Let me see. Okay. Well, also, Steve, for goodness sakes, for goodness sakes, if I'm making a huge thing with intricacy and stuff, you know, I would I would think about that. But in all fairness, you did suggest frickin' talcum powder, which I used. So it's not like he doesn't, use, that's not actually accurate. I did use the talc. What I'll tell you about the talcum powder though is that it dampened the sheen on the item because then you have that texture. I don't think this would have stuck either way. I'm just saying. But anything is possible. I'm just okay, let me show you this how they're looking right now. Because if you remember they had some bubbles and now not so much. Still some bubbles but not so much. Let me show you guys. Show you. Oh, let me see what Eloy, if you have, okay, we read that. So you can use this wax to stick this to the bottom also. Oh, okay. That is true. Yeah, so it doesn't move around. Talcum powder wouldn't work well. Yeah. We tried it. Um, we dusted and we got this out of it. But I don't know if these thin pieces would not would stick to the actual to the rubber. I don't think that. Yes, I've heard of people that it does stick, but I don't know if these little items, other than the dragon, because the dragon has so many little peaks, and I could totally see that happening. Keep that in mind. What I'm saying right now, I'm open to the whole controversy and this and that. I'm just saying that it's totally reasonable it'll stick. I'm just saying that I think that we have a good serious 50-50 that'll just pop out. Like it'll just pop out. We'll see. We will all know for sure. Because what I'll do is I'll unmold them live, either here or on Facebook under Escagedo Woodworking. We'll unmold them live just to see, you know? And it might stick. I'm not being stubborn about it. I'm just saying that I like taking chances. No, I don't think that there's a big chance with it. Let me see. Um, Talcum powder. Anna has a good idea. A drop of candle wax to stick the item to the mold. Vaseline would keep this in place also. All right. Hmm. All right, let me show you. Show you. So this is where we're at right now. Let me increase a little bit. Increase. I think that's as close as we can wish for. And let me see if I bring over the light, will it adjust? Will it adjust? That's what we've got right now. There are some little, but I see that all pretty much. Wait, let me see this. I I got a dog hair on the bottom of the mold right in here. I don't know if you guys can see it. There's a dog hair, and there's one dog hair here on the side that just edged on the side, and this one on that fell on top of it. But they're molding up pretty decent, and nothing's sticking out no more. So that's what we got. Looking good. We'll see what happens. Here's what I'll tell you. Let me go back here. What's this light? Here's what I'll tell you. What we'll do is that whenever it's ready to the touch, which maybe in whenever it is tomorrow or whatever, I'll either post the unmolding of it. I have to do a video of it anyhow. I'm doing a video of it now. I just ran out of memory to keep filming, and we'll do it on either Facebook or here on YouTube and just unmold it and see what the story is. Whether it sticks. There's always a chance that it's going to stick. I say it's not going to. I would, if I had to put money, Las Vegas money, I'll say that most of them won't stick. One might. If I had to choose, it would be the dragon. That's my guess. Um, Vaseline would, yeah, the Vaseline won't matter since that's outside the mold. Yeah. So whatever touches that bottom, it doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. I didn't have much of a problem with floating, except that one that Todd mentioned. Other than that, the other one stuck to the bottom. But I know I'm gonna have skin on the bottom because some of it's seeping through. I know that's gonna happen. This one had skin on the bottom, or on the top, originally the bottom because of the way the casting goes, and I had to cut around. But um, that's not a big deal. So maybe there is a little bit of floating going on. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Either way, next time we'll stick it to the bottom with something to make a little suction, and hopefully these come out well. Hopefully. I hope that that's the case, for goodness sakes. Let me see here. Take a quick look here, real quick here. They look fine. for now. We'll see. Let's see what's going on up in the chat. Talcum pot. Okay, we read that. Anna, 3 thumbs up. Mancrafting. Is shaving your beard an experiment? Hi Chad, says Anna. Mancrafting. When I come into a live, when I come into a live, the last word I expect to hear is Vaseline. You haven't been around the lives that we're around. Just do an experiment. No, we're doing molds, and we showed that these rubber molds using the Alumilite stuff, which we've created the skull pendant that we created from it, from this mold here, and we're using this product to make the molds. I have all the links in the description in case people are curious. And we just got done doing the whole process. I'm actually filming for a video where I go from the idea to the scroll saw to the cutting and sanding and sealing and then mold making and then eventually casting the, if these come out, and I am assuming that they will come out good. And so I'm making a video about all that, but I decided to do the live, put the camera on this tripod here next to me while I was doing that, and then this was, the memory got full, so we now have the hangout footage, live footage, that will incorporate into this whole thing and create a cool video that 5 people will watch. You and Vigo, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Instead of cutting people down, try to prop them up, man. Give love. Make love, not war, man. Come on. Make love, not war. What's up, dude? Me and Vigo, what? He's my doggy. I love him very much. I'll tell that to the world. I'll shout it from the mountains. I will shout that from the highest peaks to the lowest valleys. He's my Vigo, and I love him. You keep saying we. Well, we is us, everyone involved in the hangout. Why is this such a difficult concept to grasp? I'm not gonna have a freaking conversation about. Everybody go visit Mancrafting TM on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and his site for cups, cozies, laser engraving, and such. And tell him where you heard of Mancrafting. Right here on this channel. So yeah, you haven't been around much. I haven't seen you in a while. What's been going on? Anna says nope. I came into this in the middle, so I didn't know who we was. Well, now you know who we is, and we is all of us. There's no way you can't. There's no way you cannot get that. Huh? Come on. Let's be realistic about this. We is all of us here together. Unless you think that Vigo is capable of putting little doggy paw gloves on with protective eye gear on and handing me the mold, you know, that would make a great video. I heard it already before. So yeah, so I got my footage. And are there any questions? Reasonable questions, not like what Mancrafting was saying before we end transmission. Anybody? Anybody? So look, long story short, it has been a pretty full, from the beginning to the end of this, um, the steps to do this. I used a spoon to spoon up that silicone. I found it contains the silicone more. Um, we had that issue that one of them was rising. We talked about release agents, why I'm doing this, for what purpose, um, and all that good stuff. I showed some of the jewelry, so you have a roundabout idea of everything. Um, I think that we're good, you know. So if there's no other questions, we're gonna wrap this up and call it an evening. Good night, Anna. Good night, Harneal, Steve. Good night, Matt Crafting, Chad. Thanks, Todd, and everyone else that was hanging with us or is hanging with us. David, Birch. Um, who else was with us today? I mentioned Todd. Everybody else, that Dirty Smith as well earlier on. Um, we're out of here. I think that we're good. We squeezed the last drop of water out of that rock. Oh, Javi's there as well. So Javi's been watching. All right, Javi. So I don't know how long you've been watching and stuff, but you saw the whole experiment. Um, so good night to you guys.